Test, test, 1, 2, we're live, it's Friday. Hey folks, how's it going? Hope you've enjoyed your week. My week's been pretty good overall, can't complain. Not everything's gone as planned, but the things that have gone as planned have gone very well at plan. Gone very much to plan. Yeah, things have gone to plan for the most part. So I'm happy about that. And it's Friday, which means, in theory, it's time to relax. There's always things to do. So I'm going to enjoy this game dev session where we're playing around with Unity. Let's get some music on the go so my headset doesn't fall asleep. Where is my music collection? Open that location. Let's go for that one. Sounds reasonable. These glasses a little wipe. So, yeah. Not very good first track of this DJ mix because the vinyl skips a little bit. It's probably why I used it for the first track and not one further in, because it's a nightmare to try and mix a track in that skips. Ooh, there we go. Not perfect, we've got a little bit of a glare. Coming up with a smudge on the side there. But I did a little bit of game dev off stream last week because I was determined to work it out. And usually how it goes is that when I'm not thinking about it too much, it all comes to the head. Dinosaurs! How's it going, Jeffrey? Good to see you. Yes, I got my dinosaur t-shirt. It's from the Firefly TV series. Well, inspired from the Firefly TV series. So it has dinosaurs and Chinese culture. Because apparently in the distant future, the only cultures that exist are Chinese and English or American. Hey, Murdoch Studio. Hello, mate. Hello to you. Hope you are having a good Friday. Welcome to the stream. Hope you are enjoying your week as well. But yeah, it's your typical kind of distant sci-fi future where the only two cultures exist are the two powers, English American culture and the Chinese culture. So the only two languages they speak in the Firefly universe is Mandarin and English. It's quite interesting. So you find their dialogue switches back and forth during the TV series. And the very clever thing is they put a lot of swearing. There's a lot of swearing in Firefly, but they make sure any of the swearing lines are in Mandarin and the rest of the dialogue's in English. So it kind of gets around the censors. I thought you were making a goofy game, not confusing me. Depends how easy you're confused though, Murdochs. Depends how easily. Some people are more confused than others. Some are just that way from the get-go. Ooh, I don't think I picked a very good mix today. Hopefully it improves. Right. So let's switch over to Unity. And I can show you what I did off stream last week. Boom, there we are. So, let's play the file and I'll show you what we got going. Wow, best transition ever. Thank you. A good friend of mine did it for me. So it was done in Blender. I just gave him a spec. I said, well, I would like some like Lego bricks falling, and then boom. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Lego. Wednesday streams used to be Lego. Playing a bit of Fallout recently. It's really goofy. I love it. Glad to hear. Glad to hear. I love it. I definitely love it. He's a good friend of mine, very skilled. He does a lot of Blender stuff. And he really enjoyed making the transition so everyone wins. Right. You sound really British, mate. Don't know if I'm wrong. I am indeed British, yes. From the good old United Kingdom. So, you'll be familiar if you've seen any previous dev streams. We have the launching of the items. But what we can do now is this menu pops down for projectiles. So you can choose your projectile like rock, crate, barrel or chair. So I've actually put that UI in now so you can actually change what you would like to throw. Nope, first timer will welcome in. Everyone's welcome whether they've been here before or their first time. Hey dealer, very late I was playing chess. That's all good. Playing chess is a worthy pastime. It's good for the brain. Keeps your mind sharp. Oh, you can do this. I can do a few things. I chat in multiple platforms. Yeah? Yeah, I'm currently live on Twitch, YouTube and Facebook. So by chatting on one of them, everyone who's watching on the other platforms gets to see you as well. It's pretty cool. Because there's lots of cool people that only watch on YouTube, lots of cool people that only watch on Twitch, and a few cool people that watch on Facebook. So you know what? Let's stream more with them. So cool. Oh, I'm glad you enjoy. But yeah, I use restream.io to spread my message far and wide. Unfortunately, it does cost money to stream to Facebook, which I'm considering is not very much worth it these days. But I've got a year paid up. I might as well use it. It's stupid, yeah. But the free service allows you to stream to YouTube and Twitch, which is the majority of where the viewership is. It's indeed stupid. Got an interesting pattern going on here. It's supposed to be randomized, but not quite so much. One Facebook user is going to be left shook. Yeah, for real. Yeah, I've got a couple of dedicated Facebook fans, but out of the hundreds of people that follow my page, I only really get a couple. Yeah, it's a shame. I have 2 whole people that follow my page. That's 2 more than some people. I mean, actively. That's pretty good though. Having anyone actively engage in your content was always good. I had 5 mistakes, but 1 because my opponent blundered all his pieces. Wow. It's still a win. If it's a win from your skill or your opponent's lack of, still a win. You bested them. Now, here's a cool thing that I didn't intend, but I thought would probably happen. Is that when you throw a rock or a barrel or a crate, you're actually throwing an invisible box. So when you do that, there's an invisible box being thrown, and inside the invisible box is a rock. Just imagine that. And clicking these buttons on the right hand side changes what's in that box. and it changes at any point. So throwing this rock here, I can then change it mid-throw, which I find quite amusing. Was not my intention, but it's funny nonetheless. Also, sorry to tell you, but the breaking images look like they're one line of the building. Yeah, it's supposed to be random, but then computers aren't very good at random. We all know this. I might have to try and up the randomness. So it's supposed to be like, you can see some randomness going on. There's a bit of randomness here, but typically it can quite easily, as random, select the same one for the entire row. But I need to probably put a clause in place that it can't choose the same graphic next to itself, if that makes sense. So I might have to work that out. At the moment it's doing something. It's not doing too bad. Hey there, Abo. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good Friday. Using a laptop or PC. This is a full desktop PC. Gaming spec. So it certainly does the job for game dev as well. Sacrificed a piece to win my opponent's queen. He then blundered the queen. Ah. See, that's where you snipe in, take the advantage. Nice play indeed. Making online 2D fighting game. Oh, cool. What's the what kind of angle are you going for? Is it like your traditional classic Street Fighter? Kind of like your two kind of animated pixel type ones, or more higher res ones like a Mortal Kombat? Or is it more of a scrolling fighting where you fight your way through a level? What kind of thing are you going for? I've been programming for 8 years. Nice. Kind of like Brawlhalla and Smash Bros, but pixel art. Nice. I like the sound of that. That sounds really cool. What kind of languages do you work in? You say you've been programming for 8 years. Does canned food belong in a fridge or pantry? If it's canned, it is completely sealed. It could be in a pantry. If you open the can, it's starting to deteriorate and needs to be in the fridge. But unopened cans can be stored anywhere, as long as the temperature is controlled. Kind of like Brawlhalla. Oh yeah, you said that already. Working in an unpopular game engine called Micro Studio. It has its own language called MicroScript. Oh, cool. Well, you can use whatever language or engine you feel suits your needs and the game's needs. But all for you, trying something a bit different. Just ate cold tuna and it was awful. Ooh. Hey, thank you for the follow, Modex Studio. Much appreciate that. And that message first pops up because we get a lot of people jumping in, trying to sell services. I'm not here to buy, I'm here to stream. Cold tuna. I don't mind cold tuna, but if I'm having cold tuna, it needs to have additional flavours like sweet corn or mayonnaise or kind of spices and herbs that just kind of lift the flavour. But cold tuna out of a tin, not going to do much for me. Hell nah. You want to buy some emotes? Yeah, it's become a joke now. Why the fuck will I sell stuff on stream? I think it's how do you say, pushy as hell, makes me look like a scammer. Yeah, most of them seem to be murder, because I've never bought anything off someone dropping stuff into a chat. I don't know why people do it. They're hoping one streamer go, oh my god, I've been looking to buy emotes. Please sell me your generic AI generated emotes. But yeah, they keep doing it though. And despite that message that pops up, they still copy paste their usual stuff. So it's not doing much. Waiting for my art to get better so I can do comms. Nice. I will just make them myself, and like, who cares, right? Yeah, exactly. Everything on my stream, my entire graphics, it's kind of come from my own hand in some way or another. Apart from that panda down there, the panda is a part of a bot. I'd love to draw my own panda, but that's part of Capamon originally. They renamed it now, but it was called Capamon. It's a little stream pet, so that's not mine. But my logo, it's been revamped, but my original design is not too far from that. My border, the background, I purchased it's a purchasable stock image of a wall, but I got it for free on some credits. So everything is all kind of homemade, really. I think Ko-Fi is amazing. Yeah, Ko-Fi really good for small small things like that. So get the artists that are actually genuinely wanting to work with their clients and sell their things. Yeah, I'm quite happy. Like that logo of mine. Originally, I drew on Microsoft Paint, just with a mouse. Just wrote it in my handwriting with a mouse, kind of thing. And since then, it's been put through different software to kind of sharpen it. And my same friend that made the Lego falling took my image and kind of like made it into a vector style image, so it could be scaled for promo and stuff and all this. Did a great job. So, but that original curvature of the writing is just my handwriting. But I'm quite happy with that. That has been with me for like 2 decades. It's a very old logo, but this one's HD and all that now. Do you guys also get really artistic when bored? Cool. I doodle. I like to think of stuff. I don't really get overly artistic, but I'll open up Paint or something on Microsoft Paint, make shapes, or come up with concepts. And that's usually the best time to do that. When you're bored, your mind has all this space to work and create new stuff. If you don't ever become bored, like if you're always keeping yourself entertained and busy, you're never bored. You never give your brain the space to create stuff. When I'm bored, I'm usually thinking about reasons to stay alive, and usually they're kind of lacking. Oh, sorry to hear that, Modex. There's always a reason to stay alive. It might not be apparent, but there is always one. I just hope they become more apparent for you. When I'm bored, I get manic episodes and get overly happy. Well, sounds scary. Yeah. It's all about how you channel that energy, though. If you're bored and you have this kind of desire, whether it's positive or negative, if you have this desire, this energy, when you become bored, that's when you go, well, I'm going to grab this energy, channel it into something good. And that's up to you to channel that. It's not always easy, but the energy builds up. And sometimes it pushes you negatively, sometimes it pushes you positively. But get it and focus it into something. Be right back. Chief Brush, okie dokie. I'll see you shortly. Kelt Hikikomori. Is this a cheat? You walk. Walking's good. Walking's good for your health, good for your mental health as well. Ah. So you mean the menu is a cheat, or it's going to be a menu at some point in the game? For now, it's there. I don't know whether it'll be on the main menu or a settings menu, but for these purposes, it's there. Also, like for me, when I'm sad, listening to sad music cancels out. Yeah, music is very powerful. I like music is a mood enhancer, or a space to express things like emotion. Like you're feeling angry, you listen to angry music, and you can channel your anger through the angry music and go, ah, I pushed it all out now. I'm good. You listen to sad music when you're sad. You kind of allows yourself the space to feel that emotion, let it come out of you, and then you carry on. That's why a lot of people that listen to angry heavy metal are some of the most calmest, nicest people you could meet, because they allow themselves to express that feeling through the music. Either that or it's the mania again, but still. Do finding what works for you and doing it as much as you can is all you can do, really. 54 lines of adding collision to a map. Oh, two tasks left, 2 optimizations. Nice. Sounds like a lot of work, but it'll be worth it. Yeah, when you sit back and go, well, this game is now doing what I planned it to do. That's got to be rewarding. Need to group hitboxes. Good plan, good plan. Yeah, I suppose if you're grouping the hitboxes, it can all function as a single trigger point. I have 2 gigs of storage left on my SSD. What the flip? Ooh, you've been saving stuff to your SSD by accident. The annoying thing is, with Windows, and it might happen on other operating systems, but Windows at least, it always defaults to your SSD on the C drive. And it fills up so quickly because SSDs are not designed to be large storages. So not for cheap anyway. What the Sigma Squidward in some brainwat thing? I don't know. My friend spam it. Sounds a very fun sentence. What's the Squidward? What the Sigma? But yeah, let's come out of the game. We can do some work on this. Oh, I only have 321 gigs left on my HDD. That's not a lot, but it's still enough to work with. Hard drive has 500 kilobits left. Ooh, you might need to do some clearing out on that then, dealer. I can recommend, if you're not sure what's taking all your space up, there's a free piece of software. There's obviously there's a pro version of it, but there's a free piece of software I use. I use at work as well, called Tree Size, or Tree Size Free for the free version. And what it does, it scans your entire hard drive, and it will then go, well, this folder has this many gigs in it, this folder has this many gigs in it, and then these drives out that many gigs. So you can go, well, that folder's got a lot of files in it, I better look into it, and then you find out where all the large files are on your hard drive. Very useful piece of software, and I use it at work to manage the company systems and all that. Go, that's what all our space has gone. So industrial dubstep track on this mix. Love having 2 storage devices and both being full to the brim. Yeah, I've had to lose one of my storage devices because it was failing. The hard disk was just failing to load. But fortunately, I managed to get like 99% of the files off it. It was like 1 album of music I couldn't get, which is, yeah, it's all fine by me. But yeah, I've got a SSD for my C drive, a massive hard drive for my D drive, like a 6 terabyte hard drive. I got a 3 terabyte hard drive that I initially put all my video games on, and then got my old SSD, which is only 250 gig, but I use that for like working space occasionally. My regular C drive SSD is 500 gig, so and I've still got about a terabyte free across all of those, so I'm good for the moment. I should really invest in NAS sometimes. Yeah, I've got an old NAS box. I need to buy the hard drives for it, but I'm eventually going to set up this NAS box and throw all my media on there, and I can access it from anywhere in the house. Then, like movies, music, just like boom, it's just there, and I don't have to keep it on my my computer. Oh, I really went dark with this. If you're not, for those new people here, I do DJ occasionally. Not DJ for a few months, but the music playing now is an old DJ set of mine, and I got all my DJ equipment behind me. But I recorded all my DJ sets when I used to stream them on Fridays. So rather than doing game dev, I used to DJ on a Friday. But I wanted to make a game, and I can't do both. But yeah, I tend to play my old DJ mixes while I'm doing game dev. But eventually, you'll see me on my DJ stream setup over there. Different layout and everything. But that will come back. But all the music I play on Fridays is previous DJ mixes I've done. You could DJ music for the game. I could indeed. I could do. The only thing is I couldn't use any copyrighted stuff without paying royalties and stuff. But I can make my own music and mix it up. Which is always fun. I enjoy doing it. I do have a lot of copyright-free stuff I could mix together as well. Ooh, a bit of a garage, UK garage beat going on. I do like to mix the music a bit. Right. So, one of the big tasks on my to-do list is I purchased a load of assets as part of a Humble Bundle. Humble Bundle's great for game dev assets at the moment. They just keep throwing these big bundles, which is where that building came from, where the hedgerows, the trees, the tower, and this trebuchet. And I looked at this kind of gave me the idea for this game is where I have a trebuchet, I have a building. I can see a game concept here. So I want to put code into this, make it physically work as a trebuchet should, and then fire at that. At the moment, when you play it, an invisible force is throwing the rocks, but I want it to be the trebuchet. Torrenting is so hit and miss. You can either download at 150 meg, or you can be downloading at 3 gig file at 20 kilobits a second. Yeah. It's all depending on the sources, how fast your internet is at the time, how fast their internet is. But yeah, torrenting has always been an overnight kind of thing. Just like leave it going. Make a legacy mode that throws the whole trebuchet. I could do. All the ideas in the previous stream that you lot came up with, I still want to do. I still want the head of Dwayne the Rock Johnson as an option. So you can quite literally throw a rock. I want cows, chickens, all those kind of things. Which is what that little menu was there for. That was basically so I can flick through them. But I need to bring this into Blender, I think. Because I think this is supposed to be a static prop. I don't know, it might not be. But because to me that looks like a static prop, but I wanted to try and make it move. Can we actually open up? Yeah, because that's been imported as a single object. So I'm guessing I'm going to have to open this in. Open it in Blender and try and break the two pieces apart. So I can actually make it move. There was a high quality 3D model on Smut Base which you could probably separate the head and then use Decimate modifier. Ooh. Just to make it go splat. For the low poly look, yeah. Yeah, I don't want to make this too violent. Like when you're throwing the cows and the chickens, I just kind of want them to bounce off as if they're made of rubber. But I shall consider such a thing for something else. I do have. Where is he? There he. That's why he keeps falling down, because he's actually in the tree. I do have a character here. Oh, removes. Just removes verses. Okay, I was going to say, it sounds a bit too violent. What's up? Hey, Lisa, how's it going? So late? No, that's okay. So good. I'm always glad to see you whenever you can be here. Hope you're well. Hope you've been enjoying your week and your Friday. So yeah, I'm going to have to do a little bit of Blender learning. I don't really know much about Blender. But I need to learn a bit of Blender before I can do anything with this, unfortunately. Oh, but we lost a lot of lurkers there. I wonder if that's just polling. Hopefully they've not gone offline on the on Twitch. Because he's just told me no one's watching on Twitch anymore. Let's check my Twitch stream. It's probably just my bot playing up. Clip Studio Paint has 6-month free trial. Ooh, nice. It's always worth checking out these applications. This Twitch actually died on me. It says I'm live. Very odd. We shall carry on. But it's very odd that Twitch isn't showing for me anymore. Well, the preview's still working. How odd. No, I am still live. Okay. Oh yeah, it's all come back now. I don't know what's going on there. There's an app. What's going on there? Let's make that a bit wider. I can see what people are saying. There's an app that has like 1 hour 15 minutes of free scootering for new accounts. Okay. That's pretty cool. You can just keep making new accounts. That's a nice way to get around it. Right, so I've got the thing where it changes the object. That's one of the things I wanted to tick off. Let's bring up my so what the items are doesn't make a difference. They can be added in. The main thing is I can add items and they can be changed. Game dev. Let's look at my notes. Set up method to allow castle to crumble. So I want the castle to just crumble into stone. Was recommended a a plugin that allows you to kind of almost fruit ninja objects, but it seems to be allowing the player to fruit ninja the objects, not to automate it. There might be a way of automating it, so that just seems a bit odd to try and work with. Swapping mark, yes. UI, yes. Yep, crumbling. Anything else I've said that I would like to do? Improve player controls, yes. Quit button, yes. Yeah, I think I've pretty much done everything on my list otherwise. It's just the castle crumbling and the trebuchet being animated. Wow, I've actually come quite far on what I've actually done in this. It's pretty cool. Okay. I sell, by the way. You do indeed. If I'm going to buy any emotes off anyone, it would definitely be you, Lisa. Higher quality stuff. In Romania, there's a mandatory religion classes, and the teacher played psychosocial. Nice. It's pretty cool.
Epic.
Epic indeed. I like psychosocial. Now, ooh, that's a bad mix going there. I'm thinking, if all the buildings are roughly the same size, or I have an object that generates a crumbling building, and I make it the same size as the building, similar to how the target squares are generated. Because when you start the game, there's a lot of invisible squares that are generated that cover this entire building, and when they're hit, it changes to the cracks you see. So they're invisible, and the cracks appear. So I could make a big cube that is invisible to player, that once all the squares have been hit, it will hide the house, and then within that square, that cube, generate a series of brick-like objects that then have gravity applied and then crumble and fall on top of each other, like however the Unity decides. So we can give that a go. Give that a go. So shall I make it over here, and then we can move it over there. Spend 6 years making a physics engine that simulated realistically the damage done by the cannonball. Ooh. That'll be fun. That'll be very fun, but there's games like I like games like that, but they're very far and few between, aren't they? Like is it Red Faction? I want to say Red Faction. Was that one of the games where fully destructible environments, and you can take out structural pieces that when they were blown off, the whole thing kind of. Red Faction Guerrilla was great. Yeah, I never played it. Never played it. I've always wanted to play it, but I know the physics and the destructible world was like not really done, and it still isn't really done because it's a lot of work. But to have it built into the engine that the whole thing interacts with what you're doing. Played it on PS3 and it was really fun. Cool. I'll see if I can find a means to play it. There might be a PC version somewhere I can get hold of. But let's make a new object. Let's make a new object. Let's go 3D object cube. Right, we have a cube. So for the sake of making this more universal, let's just stretch out the size of this cube a bit. So we want to say I want to generate You don't need a roof. Not going to need a roof. Not going to need a floor necessarily. Although the floor could just be flat. The floor's not going to fall down. The floor's on the floor. But at the very least, I need to generate four walls around this cube, or inside the cube, should I say. So inside the space of the cube, I need to generate a wall of bricks that aren't attached to each other. And then just let physics happen. And then we'll see how physics does. We might need to give it a nudge. So I can probably borrow the same sort of code that I'm using over here. So over here I have the, is it in the castle holder? It is, the grid view. So grid view, you can probably just about see it on the stream. I don't know how well it comes up, but there's a green frame just sat here. Probably just about to see this green frame. And that green frame generates all the squares that the player hits. So if I take the code from that and apply it onto each of the faces, that will generate a wall the size of the cube, like around the perimeter of the cube. And then yeah, that'll work. So let's have a look at how hit grids work. So a lot of these variables down here aren't being used. They're more kind of debugging. These are debugging. I might have to go into the code. I could even do that now. I don't know. Actually, if I'm using it again, I'll keep them on there. So most of these are debugging. The only value that I actually use is the hit grid square, which is a prefabbed item, which has the crack and everything built into it. So when the game runs, it takes the hit grid square object and keeps pasting it in rows and rows until it fills that entire square. So if we take this code to hit grid, there it is, that's that code there. Let's open that. So I might as well make a note of these. Let's put debug values. So I know these are all debug values. That was a bad timing on that mixer. I might have to re-give it a go though. Hi Pixel Corey, how's it going? Good to see you. Hope you're having a good Friday. Enjoyed your week. What's up? You're doing good here? I've enjoyed my week. This sounds very much like a Dutch track. I don't know how loud the music is for you lot, but it doesn't look very loud. It's just there to fill the silence. But if you hear me talking about music, there is music playing. Right, so those all debug values don't actually add. I don't think these add. Definitely add. Let's have a look. Oh yeah. They're needed, but they don't add to anything. I don't think that. Oh yeah. So it gets the dimensions. So it gets dimensions. So this gets to the width and the height. I might have to skip this a little bit because it's a little bit too much talking in that song for me to focus. So this gets a maximum scale. Oh, local scale. So that's a local scaling. Yeah, because each one block. Yeah, that works. If you're working on Halloween, you should go to work dressed as a installation wizard. Funny you should say that. I have a costume for an installation wizard that I wore from one Halloween. Not at work, but for a Halloween party. In actual fact, I actually have the my wand here, and it's got a USB on the end of it because I was an installation wizard. I am still working on my PC game, but I recently started working on a VR Gorilla Tag fan game. You might have heard of Gorilla Tag? Yeah. I've heard of that. I haven't come across one. Yeah, but yeah, Gorilla Tag fan games I've come across before, but that's pretty cool. Don't think I've ever played. I might have Gorilla Tag. I don't think I've ever played it. So I got a VR headset, but I can't use it in this environment, unfortunately. So I have to uproot this entire PC setup, take it to a space, set it up, play VR, and then pack it up again. Hopefully, some point in the near future, I'll have a space I can use VR properly. But yeah, this is my installation wizard wand. But I actually have the hat as well. Got a hat, I got a shiny cloak. Hardest part of it so far is adding multiplayer importing movement system. I've heard multiplayer is one of the hardest things to add into games, which is probably why so many indie games don't have multiplayer, because it's so riddled with bugs and errors that it's hard to test as well. But yeah, well done you for giving it a go though. I would like to add multiplayer into a game eventually, but this game will never have a multiplayer. My next game might do. And certainly not competitive multiplayer. Maybe cooperative, like, hey, I'm doing a thing and you want to join me? Let's do the thing together. Networking, yeah. Networking is a archaic system. But it does its job. Thankfully, Unity has multiplayer plugins that help it, but I briefly looked at them and yeah, we won't touch that for a little while. Let's put this one down before I cast something I wasn't planning to. Right, so this is going to get the scale. So how much I've made it wider and high. So I might have to then get the Z as well, I'm guessing, for the depth. Yeah, you have to install the Photon VR plugin and set that up. Then you have to get this other plugin that if you want a voice chat that does that. Ooh. Yeah, I've heard of Photon VR. I think that might be the one I've looked at. Trying to make sure none of the ports conflicts are awful. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, it's a nightmare. Not something I'm willing to rush into. I'm back, welcome back. One of my friends who runs servers on his home network can't play any Riot games because they use a port his servers use. Oh no. And depending what services on his network are using those, you might be able to reconfigure them, but again, that's a lot of hassle. Did you listen to songs I said? I did not. I nearly did. But I've been so busy this week. I've not even listened to much at all. Hey, Nix, thank you for the hearts. It's good to see you. Hope you're doing well. But thank you for sending those songs, Jeffrey. I do appreciate those. I at least looked at the messages when I should click those. Hey. I should click those and listen to it. Today I've not even listened to any music at all today. The first lot of music I'm listening to is what I'm listening to right now on stream. You can't change the ports on most games nowadays. Yeah. That's a shame. But I guess they're all coded to it and they reserve these ports. I'm wondering, to make this from a flat plane generator to a 3D generator, I just add the Z-axis. Because get dimensions. Get dimensions is... This is just a recording width and height of grid panel. Yeah, I should really annotate a lot of these, my codes, just so I know. It's easy. It's quicker to go back and go, oh, that's what that's doing. You have to sit there and decipher your own work. So that's telling me how wide and high the panel is. Get corners is working out the position in space that the four corners of the panel is. So let's make a note of that one. So find the x, y positions of all four corners. I don't think I need those debugs in there anymore, so let's remove those. So that takes the renderer from the game object and then just reads in the bounds. Quite useful. Generate. So this is generating code. So generate hit squares. So this is the meat of this function. So define a v3. Where am I using that? Oh, that's being used down there and being defined there. v3 scale. Okay, so that's the scaling the actual objects. So basically you have to underscale them slightly so they don't overlap, otherwise you get weird overlapping things. So I'll underscale it by 0.05. Position X. Is position X being used? It isn't. I think that was for debugging at some point. Position X. Yeah. Yes, that was a debug value I put in there because I wanted to know where the square was, because you can't see the squares, they're invisible. So having that in the properties allowed me to find it. So I'll keep that in there. Let's make a note of that. Debug position of oh, this is a bit of a dark track. I like it. Generated object. Okay, so that's all that is for that one. Let's make a note of that one. So scale down generated objects to 95%. Yo, what are you making? Making a silly little game. Welcome into stream, Swaggy. Let's just save that. Just making some annotated notes on the code. Just wait for that to compile the script. We're making a... this is my first start to finish video game in Unity. Basic idea is you're throwing objects at this building, and once you hit it enough, it will fall down. That's the premise. Very simple map. Just put a few objects in here to make it look good. But got potential, good map, thank you for saying. But it's my first start to finish game. I've made like little projects for playing around with things, learning the engine. But this is the first world. Let's try and make a game. Give you a quick demo. Let's load it up. So we can rotate left and right and move up and down, and then can throw the object and it makes cracks on the building, and if it hits a tree, the tree wobbles. And the idea being, once you've hit the building enough, it'll then crumble, level complete, you win, move on to the next one. That's the basic premise of the mechanic. I've done it so you can change what you actually throw. So you got a crate. You can have a chair if you really want a chair. Chair flies a bit quicker, of course. Man, that is amazing. Keep it up, man. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for saying that. Much appreciate that. But it's a silly idea. But I need to have something that I can test my skills, improve and stuff. But yeah, it's more kind of a demo and testing of my skills and seeing what I can actually do with it. But my next thing I'm currently working on right here is a crumbling building effect. Not a lot of games are like this. This could blow up. That'd be cool to do. Well, thank you for saying so. But there's a... I've already got some code, which you saw just as you entered the stream, that acts on this... Can't quite see it. If I put the render on for it. Yeah, so you got this panel here. You don't need to see the panel, but the panel's there. And... I've got the code to look at the size of that panel, calculate where each of these four corners are on the panel, and then generate a series of squares in a grid pattern. And when those panels are hit, they show that crack graphic. And once all the panels have been hit, it triggers the win condition and you win. You don't need complexity to make things fun. Exactly. Sometimes the most fun games are the most simple ones. So if people enjoy this and the challenge of... It's not even a challenge, just sort of just a bit of fun throwing objects at a building. And there's going to be silly objects. Like I want to put a cow and a chicken and Dwayne The Rock Johnson's head. Just throwing things at it. And then go create a few different levels, different buildings, but the premise will be the same. Throw random object at building enough, building falls down, you win, move on. But yeah, I'm going to take the code I've used for that and apply it to a 3D space within this cube, which is what we have here. Now I'm just annotating my code here to see if I can take a two-dimensional plane calculation and just add the third dimension and have it generate around a cube rather than just across a plane. I stuck my teeth. There you go. But I'm thinking I just need to add the Z axis. And I can then, not this particular code, but copy the code, make a new script, but with the Z axis. And that's what I'm thinking. But this function here, generate hit squares, is going to need to run for 4 sides of the cube. I don't need the top, I don't need the bottom. At least I don't think I need the top. But at the very least, the 4 outer walls of the cube, I need to generate a series of squares or objects, bricks, on the points that the win condition has been met. Generate all 4 walls out of loose brick objects. Remove the house, the visible house, so the player can't see the house anymore. But then generate the bricks, and then naturally the physics engine in Unity should allow it to crumble naturally. That's what I'm thinking. Especially the bricks have got rounded edges and all this. It'll kind of tumble. If they're square, it might wobble a little bit and stay there. But I'm thinking this code here would have to be run 4 times. 1 for each face of the cube around the edge. But based on the values here alone, I suppose it's because the V3, res V3, V3 new bottom left. So bottom left. I'm going to have to rethink what I wrote here. It's your typical coding mistake that you don't... It makes sense when you write it, but you didn't leave yourself any notes as to why it's working. You just knew it was working, you moved on. And that's what I've done. So we know what these are doing. That's just declaring a vector 3. That's scaling the object down to 95%. That's just writing the debug position so I can read it. That's defining the square object. And these are just 2 for loops that are looping the x-axis, looping the y-axis. That's fair. So, I'm feeling it's the very least this line of code, and quite possibly this line of code, that I need to consider if I'm going to do it on different planes. So what's this doing? So this is taking the x, so from the loop, so x is equal to 0 to less than the maximum width. The maximum width we worked out earlier. So once it reaches the maximum width, it stops generating. And we have the corners, so top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. And we're only using bottom left, so we're generating from the bottom left. So these values are only for debugging, so I can tell where they are. They're not actually used then, so the only one I'm using is bottom left, bottom left. Bottom left, bottom left. So that's the only one I'm actually using. The rest of them are just there for fun. So I better note these. So bottom left is being used, but the others aren't. Let's finish this bowl. I can't get used to these lids being part of the bottles. I keep going, where did I put the lid for this bottle? Nowhere, it's attached to the thing. Right, so let's paste that in to let me know that these values are functionally useless. They're not being used. But I'm keeping them in case I need to check figures. Once I'm happy with everything, I can remove that and not have to check anything else. Although keeping them in now means I can reuse this code and use them for checks. So it's useful that I didn't delete them. So we're using the bottom left. So bottom left to then generate from. So it's taking the X position. So going 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. Got chess competition tomorrow. Ooh. You confident? We're supposed to play Blitz, but only been practicing Rapid. Ooh. I'm sure you'll be fine. I have no idea the difference. I don't play chess, but I'm sure you'll be fine. So we're taking that, we're adding the bottom left of the square, and we're adding 0.5. So that's moving it in, that's offsetting it by 0.5. Which is, so it's the centre. Right, I got it now. I'm goated though, so I'll win probably. I'm sure you will do that. I'm sure you'll ace it. Go in there with your head held high and go, well, we're going to beat him. Right, worked it out now. I know what I'm doing here. So the X and the bottom left is somehow generating the center, and the 0.5 is to bring it. It's because it's bringing it from the bottom left. I need to bring it to the center. That's what the 0.5 is. Same with the Y. So it's taking the Y position of the loop, taking the bottom left Y position, and then bring it to the center with the 0.5. And then I can't remember why the 9.689004 for the Z. I think that's the elevation of where it is. So that's a static elevation. Well, depth, sorry. Static depth of where it sits. But to make this in a 3D space, I probably have to bring that into play now. Now, is there a smart way I can do this? So I'm going to need to run this 4 times. Now I could pass in the values and just run the same code, but is there a way I can run the same code? Because if the sides are in different places, because the Y is always going to be the Y, so that this part of the code doesn't need to change. The Y is always the Y. What we'll probably need to change is the X and the Z will need to swap, because the elevation from the Y-axis will always be the elevation, but the X will need to be static when we're going across the Z-axis, but then the Z will have to be static when we're going across the X-axis, And where bottom left is going to be depending on the side of the cube. So it's not just... Ooh, that's a So I'm going to have to try and think three-dimensionally here. So these values are the get corners. Is obviously, it doesn't matter. The z-axis is not going to change, so it's just finding out how wide the object is and how tall the object is. But I need to find out how deep the object is, and then move. Yeah, it seems like it makes sense. YouTube has something about ideas on Studio now. Or is it changing the way it all functions? I haven't really looked at Studio for a long time. Oh, inspiration. Okay. Oh, gotcha. Yes, as a thing, just giving you ideas to create stuff. That's pretty cool. Facebook has had that for Facebook creators. Like, hey, why don't you make a reel with this new trendy song? Well, how about you comment on this video? It's getting very popular. You might get some traction. It's all about trending stuff. They want you to make content because content draws people in. So it's a win-win for people. If they're helping you make content, you're helping them bring people to YouTube. That's cool. I should really make more YouTube content. Apart from streaming to YouTube, I don't make any YouTube content anymore. I was for a little while, but no one was watching the videos, so I went, I'm making a lot of effort to make a video that no one watches, or maybe 2 people watches. So I thought I'll just stream. The video's there for you to watch later. I'm going to start doing crappy video essays with minimal editing to farm watch time. Okay. Yeah, you never know. People will pick up on it. Video essays are kind of a low effort production typically. Obviously, all the content is on you though, but the actual video production is very minimal because it is just your voice over whatever you're talking about. You obviously need some B-roll footage to talk over, but depending how much related to the content, you might just have something unrelated while you talk about it. Subway Surfers gameplay in the background, yeah, basically. I've seen a few of those. I've seen a lot of videos with like GTA stunt kind of videos as well, or Minecraft things in the background. It's a very easy kind of thing to do. Just people talking over B-roll footage of a game. Could also do text-to-speech Reddit readings, which is 0 effort. Oh yeah. To be honest, I've watched a few of those. So I can't really shut them down because it's nice just to hear things rather than read stuff. And the text-to-speech doesn't always pronounce things properly, which is quite funny. Especially if people don't type in the right way for it to pick it up. Like misspell it or whatever. The text-to-speech will say it in its literal sense. To bottom left. Because this is very much... It's still a 3D space. So the Z to this exists, but I'm just not using it. So do I put in the Zs? I could do. Let's do that. Run it and see what the values come out as. Let's just do this then. Let's just do this. Keep forgetting I can do this now. Just place your cursor anywhere on the line and go Control C. Z axis. Z axis. Z. Z. So I can do this, read off the debug values, and see if they're as useful as I think they might be. Z and Z. Okay, so we're now recording the bounds. We do need to note the min and maxes of these though. So this becomes interesting. So to get the bottom left, it's the minimum of the X, but the maximum of the Y. Or top left, sorry. Top left, top left. Ah. Not quite as easy as I thought it was, because it's not the max. Although it might work out, might work out. So top left will have a Z at the deepest point of the object. So not only be top left, but back. And top right will rather be top right, back. So it'll be taking the two top at the top corners at the back, and bottom left we're taking the two to value the front and the left and the front and the right. So it is taking the top, it's taking a diagonal slice. Is that useful though? Because bottom left will be, it's all the minimums. Top right is all the maximums. So that should work, I think. I think that should work. But it will probably mean I need to use more of these. Or I use or I map all 8 of these separately, rather than just having 4. Right. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to see what the values come out as. Because I don't know what's going to happen with this yet. So that's on the original code. So let's run the game. So where's the script? Oh, this is on the hit grid view, isn't it? There we go. So we do actually have Z values now, because these were 0 because I wasn't recording them. So that's why I've hard coded that value in. So that's 9.72, 9.68. So that's probably dropping it in the middle, I'd say. Yeah. So the outer range of that panel, invisible panel, I'm actually telling it to use the center. So it's generating in the center, which is in this case what I want it to do, because it's only a thin panel. However, in the cube, I want it to generate inside of the cube, so I'll probably have to offset it inside, but I can work that out. That's a minor adjustment in comparison to the rest of it. Can I use these values? Tell you what, let's apply this code as it currently is to the cube. And we can work around it this way. Whoops, a bit nuts. Better still, because it was hit grid, wasn't it? Hit grid, right. We're going to copy hit grid. Do we have a duplicate? No. Right, we'll make something different then. Create C# script. We'll call this Castle Crumble. Yeah, let's call it Castle Crumble. Castle Crumble script. And we'll copy everything inside hit grid. That means we're not affecting the original code. And we're keeping it as a separate thing. Cool, okay. Hit square. We have to make sure we apply the hit square into it. Cube. So Castle Crumble needs to be applied to the cube. Put it down here. Now it does need an object in there now. It's my assets, prefabs, brick. We have a brick there. Do that. And we want the box collider off. Mesh render off as well. So we can see the cube. Let's move this a bit more in view of the camera. I should put the render on for the moment so I can see what I'm working with. Okay. But move it away from the tree. So we haven't got a collision thing going off. Let's save the project before this goes nuts on me. And run the project. Interesting. I was distracted by something. Welcome back from the distraction. Well, it's generated a load of cubes. Well, along a lot of sticks, should I say. A lot of sticks. Not in the right place. The offset's a bit off. Now there are squares. What are they doing here? Yeah, so. It's generated a lot of bricks. So it's created it's a bit of a weird song to mix in. Yeah, so what we're doing, as you were distracted of course, I've thrown off by this track that's coming. What we're doing here is that we're working on the generation code, the code to generate a series of basically generate a brick wall in place of the building. So when you hit all the squares, building goes invisible, and in its place we'll generate a load of bricks, and then we'll just let physics take its course and the bricks will crumble. That's what I'm planning. So the Z-axis scaling needs to be quite small. So they're all set to 0.14. The only problem is I can't. It's hard when you code have stuff that runs on, or generates at runtime, because you can't inspect it. So well, yeah, something like that. Let's clear that. Yeah, you can't walk around it, look at it. So let's look at the code for this. So that's generating based on this. So let's go bottom left dot Z plus 0.5. Do that and see what happens. Nothing like a bit of old trial and error. We'll blow it. Didn't really know what the time is. Probably 15 more minutes. 15 more minutes and we'll wrap the stream up. Okay. Still not quite what I was expecting. We can take away the mesh renderer for the cube. And we want it to be kind of like that. So something along those lines. So this is effectively what's happening when all the squares are generated here. Just because it's a cube, it's made it the entire depth of the cube, rather than the depth of the panel. So I need to specify the scale to be 0.05. So where's the scale? The scale's here, isn't it? So the scale's 1. So if I go 0.05, let's have a look at that. Gonna head to bed in like 15 minutes. It's 12:45. Oh yes, it is. Well, for you it would be. But thanks for hanging out for so long though, dealer. Especially if you've got a tournament tomorrow. Don't you be too tired. Very grateful for having you here. Let's run the code again. Let's hide the mesh renderer. There we go. So we can probably scale them up a little. Having perfect squares is not ideal. Ideally there'd be more rectangular brick things like this. That's the only problem with what I would like to do is just generate the object as it is. Like, just put the object in there. But it seems yeah, I'm not sure there's any other way of doing it. Because basically I just want a spawner, effectively. It's a spawner. But the spawner is based upon the size of the spawner. Like, normally a spawner doesn't have a size. The spawner is just a single point in space, and things come from that point in space. This, however, I'm saying, well, take the size of the spawner and spawn objects to fill that space. So I'd still like it to generate the objects as they currently exist in like a one-to-one. But at the moment they're a sub size of the spawning object. I suppose, or would that not work? If the bricks were inside if the prefab of the brick was inside a container, and that container made it a one-to-one, then that would hold the shape of it. Because the problem is these bricks here, these bricks are already scaled. So it's overriding the scaling of the brick. So I'm thinking if I put the brick inside the container has a one-to-one, therefore the brick does not change size. I feel that makes sense. So let's try this. Let's try this. Let's create an empty. call it brick holder. Let's put a brick into the world view as well. Is that the brick? Oh no, I see the root. I worked out a better way of making the roots for the trees as well, but I can do that next stream. See, that looks more like a brick. So we're going to put the brick there. And let's copy the positioning of the brick. Paste that onto that. So, because the holder has no scale to it, it shouldn't be affected anymore by scaling changing. So we go to the cube, we can get rid of that brick holder, delete that. Go to the cube, and rather than using the brick by itself, let's use the brick inside the brick holder. What do we get then? It's time, ooh, 9 minutes. Move the cube. Ah. We do have bricks. There we go, it's easy that. But it's generating them at a space of the cubes, which is not quite right. It's generating it at a because I originally wrote it to generate squares, not bricks. So I need to ideally take the dimension of the brick and generate it for as many times as the brick will fit inside the cube, not how many times a cube of standard size would fit in there. Also, I would like the brick holder to have a collider. In the cube, not to have a collider, not have a visible mesh either. What's the other things? The material collider. Okay, let's try that. Go save. It's still there. What do we need to do to give it physics? Can't remember what it needs for physics. Effects. I don't have lens flare. Not quite what we're after. Physics. Is it just physics? Rigid body. That's what it needs. It needs a rigid body. Mass. Cool. Right. Let's do this. Go back to the so add a rigid body to it. Save it again. So this should now spawn a load of bricks that will fall to the ground. The box collider is a bit bigger though. That's the problem. That's the only problem now. The collider should really be on the brick. That's what I'm doing wrong. That's what I'm doing wrong. Not on the brick holder, but the brick itself. So let's remove the rigid body. Remove components. Remove collider. Go to the brick that has a box collider. Needs to be a rigid body on there as well. Cool, and that then holds it in that. Right, let's give that a quick save. There we go. It's a little bit uniform for what we want right now, but you get the idea. You get the idea now. I just need to build a brick wall that isn't so uniform and isn't so far apart. But we can do that next time. But I'm going to finish the stream now before it hits 11 PM for myself, and obviously 12 PM for those in Western Europe, and seemingly 1 PM for those further afield. Switch over to the other camera. Boom. Right, thank you all for joining tonight. It's been awesome to see you all. Thank you for those chatting, those lurking, those who followed. There might not be a dev stream next Friday. Might be something else. So stay tuned. But there will be more dev streams. I'm going to be away for a week. Not next week, but the week after. Going to the Download Music Festival. Lots of heavy music. Fun times. So that week there will be very minimal streams.
Epic.
Epic. Thank you for the stream. Epic as always. Well, thank you for being here, Lisa. See you Monday. What I would think now be our last Stardew till July. Ooh. So yeah, so next stream on Monday, Stardew Valley with Colt, Hikikomori, Lysaurus Rex, and Nix's Crafts. All those 3 awesome people are in chat. We're playing last Stardew with that lot on Monday. And then yeah, we'll be playing some more Fallout 1 on Wednesday, which I enjoyed this Wednesday. Didn't think it was be as enjoyable as it was, but so it was. There's the hearts, Nix. Thank you for all those. See you Monday. Have a great weekend. Yes, you too, Lisa. Thank you for being here. Yeah, and thank you everyone else. I'm gonna get some rest now. Hope you do too. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you all on Monday. Hope you have a good night. Good night.